We have multiple major Warriors updates to discuss, as Golden State is one of the favorites to land elite 3&D wing in free agency this year, which could really complement a lot of the different moves that are made over the course of this offseason. We'll discuss that, including Steph Curry giving a very interesting interview, revealing details on his future, not just with the Golden State Warriors, but also beyond. So much to break down out here in this video. You guys have been crushing it, hitting that subscribe button as of late. So if you want to stay up to date with all of the latest Golden State Warriors news, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Over 75% of our viewers haven't hit that button just yet, so we want to make sure that you guys don't miss a single thing with this Golden State Warriors team. But let's jump into it because we have multiple updates to discuss. And the first thing we're taking a look at is Steph Curry giving some very interesting comments, talk about retirement, and talk about just his future in general. Of course, Steph Curry, a legend out here in Golden State, and everyone wants him to be a Warrior forever, and it looks like there might be some opportunities, some avenues for that to be the case. So we'll discuss that. It goes beyond, Steph Curry, of course, just being an absolute monster, playing at such an elite level already. 24 points per game, 4.4 rebounds, 6 assists per night. Steph Curry is still phenomenal, but he had a lot to say about his future, and it's not just playing, basketball professionally out there in the future, as he has some ambitions. We'll talk about him staying with the Warriors for life in the next part of this, but he had some ambitions of playing professional in other areas. It's basically, he came out and said it would be a really fun goal to go after for sure, becoming a professional golfer. It's an extremely challenging tour to crack if you're not one of the champion ex-PGA guys that are making that jump after you turn 50. So if you do all the qualifying journey and all of that, I'm pretty sure I'll try it. I've seen guys who are preparing themselves to do the same thing. So it'll be very interesting to see Steph Curry. We know he's a elite golfer and come out and do these different things, but it would be crazy to see Steph Curry go pro in another area. So that was pretty fascinating to see. And also, he gave some hints about trying to become an NBA owner out there in a recent interview, talking about how, hey, MJ might be the only one in our generation who has sat in that seat and done it that way. The idea of being part of an ownership group and the right opportunity that allows me to have an impact on how a franchise should be operated, how you're going to go after true winning, like what we've done here with the Warriors. That is something I'm excited about pursuing. It's interesting, obviously, as an active player, you can't participate in that level until you're done, so you'll see me in that seat somewhere down the road, but obviously there are levels to this. So that's very intriguing because, again, talking about Steph Curry being a Warriors lifer, he's not going to be able to play forever, even though it feels like the way he just continues to come out. Certain nights we see some aging, but, night in, night out, Steph Curry does really show what he is able to do at just, still an elevated age. I mean, I brought up his stats earlier, but Curry, right, 37 years old, 25 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, Steph Curry's just an absolute monster, but him being able to come in and then maybe have an opportunity to join the Warriors ownership group, that the Warriors might be one of the tougher franchises for him to actually get in on, just given the value of the franchise and, it's valued over $8 billion according to some people. Steph Curry's gotten some serious contracts and things like that, but it is tough to buy in price is that level of that high. As he said, there's levels to this, but if you look at an organization, you brought up MJ, the Hornets, where his dad played, his relationship, his ties there. Maybe he could be an owner for the Hornets and stuff, but it will be really cool if there's a way to work it out so Steph Curry could stay a part of the organization, being an owner for the Golden State Warriors out there in the future. So we'll see what Joe Lacob tries to pursue any avenues down that front. So we'll keep you posted on how Steph Curry's ownership quest happens out here on the channel as things move forward. But again, that's way down the line. But more interesting in the short term is certainly this update, as the Warriors are among the favorites to land elite 3&D player Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Of course, Warriors fans are familiar with Alexander Walker's hounding defense out there in the postseason, but there's been a lot of development about his future and what's going on with his sort of next team. So we'll jump into that. As right now, the Lakers are the favorites to land Nickeil Alexander-Walker if he doesn't stay in Minnesota, but behind them, at a very, very close second and third, the Brooklyn Nets and the Golden State Warriors. So you see us on the list, you see the Warriors out there in terms of being a destination for Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and more signs indicate that Alexander Walker is going to be on the way out from the Minnesota Timberwolves. So Brian Windhorst doesn't think that the Timberwolves can keep Julius Randle, Naz Reid, as well as Alexander Walker, saying, well, I don't think they can keep them all together. The core they can, so Julius is a free agent, Nickeil Alexander-Walker is a free agent, and Naz Reid's a free agent. He has an opt-out, which I'm sure he's going to take, and contract is very large, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're unable to sign all those three guys. Now, Arthur already discussed the prospect of bringing in a Naz Reid, and of course, that would be an absolute heist for the Golden State Warriors. Definitely check out that video on the channel if you guys haven't already. But Alexander Walker is certainly a piece well and could be much cheaper. Now, Mark Stein revealed, or basically brought up, how next season's full mid-level exception will be worth more than 3 times what Alexander Walker made last year at $14.1 million. With rumbles already circulation, the Orlando Magic are a potential suitor. There's a bunch of different teams out there in the mix as we see, and of course the Warriors are among the top teams out there as a destination for the Minnesota Timberwolves elite 3&D player. Anyone that watched the Warriors, out there in the postseason saw what he was able to do, especially on the defensive end, but really the sneaky part of his ability, of his game that is really intriguing for Golden State Warriors fans as a potential pickup this offseason is really, of course, the defense, but also the three-point shooting. 9 points per game, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, but you look at it, 38% from the three-point line, but on corner threes, on corner shots, he shot 47% from the corners. He's just 26, so he's entering the prime of his career. Very athletic, very durable, can come in and just be an impact player, 3&D guy that complements perfectly around a Steph Curry. I mean, you look at the resurgence of a guy like Buddy Hield out there when he, again, Buddy Hield's had his ups and downs, but so many guys when they come into Golden State, they, just get that little 3-point percentage boost. And you're bringing a dude that already is shooting 40% from the corners. Imagine the gravity that Jimmy Butler, that Steph Curry are able to create, the open looks, the open shots that Nickeil Alexander-Walker will be able to pick up out here on this Warriors squad. That could completely change his game, his ability, and would complement this roster really well. I mean, if we take a look in terms of who's available, I mean, GB2, of course, legend out here in Golden State, but, disappointed a lot of people in his most recent season. He does have his moments, but is an impending free agent out there on the wing. Of course, you got Moody on that solid contract going forward, and Brandin Podziemski, but there's a lot of players. We'll see if Pat Spencer's able to come back, but out there on the wing, there are some opportunities, especially if there are some of those trades that are rumored to go down actually happening. If the Golden State Warriors want to beef up their wings, they want to beef up their roster, NAW is definitely a piece that, and take the load off the team defensively because, Curry, Draymond's obviously, until he retires, is going to be a phenomenal defensive player. But Jimmy Butler, these guys, they're capable in moments, right? But night in, night out with this aging team, you need a few more dogs. You need a few more guys that will get up into you and take the load off of this team defensively. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, we saw in the playoffs, he's reliably able to get minutes on a playoff team, a winning team, and frankly have an impact on both ends of the court and knock down those three-point shots. So again, a rivalry, it's a back and forth, it is what it is, but bringing him in and stealing him away from the Minnesota Timberwolves would be a very, very big thing. And basically the overwhelming expectation is NAW will leave the Timberwolves as an upcoming free agent. Minnesota's apron crunch, including Julius Randle, Naz Reid, will likely leave Alexander Walker on the way out. Minnesota could sign and trade Alexander Walker to recoup assets, but again, he's an impending free agent. Those sign and trades are tough to do. So let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section down below. Do you want to see NAW on the Golden State Warriors in the comment section? Let me know. Do you want to see Steph Curry become a part of the ownership group? That would be crazy to see. Anyways, you guys are the best. I'm signing out. Cheers.